Hey guys, how's it going? Harlequin here, and welcome to another episode of HarlequinCasts Dawn of War 2 Retribution. And you know, a lot of people have really been enjoying the Newbie Tuesday series of games that have been out there, but a common request that I get is, hey Harlequin, newbie games are great, we love seeing people learn how to do this sort of stuff and the mistakes that new players make, but do you have less newbie games? Perhaps games from just kind of normal players, just average level players out there on the ladder. So I thought today it would be fun to just sit down and take a look at some of the viewer submissions that I get that are just average games and just kind of go through the glory of just a normal ladder game that probably you would never see at high levels because it's just riddled with mistakes, but at the same time it's an intense fun fight because everybody's making mistakes and it makes it even. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. Honestly, I don't actually know how I'm going to classify these games. I don't have any sort of clever name for it. Obviously, I stole Newbie Tuesday from my hero Day 9. The Day 9 Daily is where he has that. But so this is kind of just like an average whatever kind of game. But I honestly believe that like just normal average games are still really fun because of the fact that everybody's making mistakes and you end up getting some very odd end game positions that you don't normally see here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look around right now and get used to this map and get used to these players. So this is going to be the 2 versus 2 version of the map Ashes of Typhon. Now if you kind of like cover up this top, you know, the map kind of looks like an axe blade or something like that. If you cover up the axe blade part of this, you just have the 1 versus 1 version of the map. So what they did was they dug out the map and they added a spawn point up here and a spawn point over here. So there's a little bit more dynamics going on. The victory points are all the same. However, we do have new power nodes up in here and a new requisition point for those players to kind of fight over. And more or less, it's the same middle map that you're used to from 1 versus 1. So let's go ahead and take a look around at our players today. The skill level for this game in particular is quite varied. One person didn't have any rating. The other person was like, you know, 900 or something like that. There was another person at 1500, you know, so it's kind of all over the place. This is kind of the game you would see when people are still going through their placement matches and all that sort of stuff maybe and haven't really attained their true level yet. So up here on the left hand side we have the red team, and controlling the force commander for the Space Marines we have Mr. BuffelDriver. That's just a fun name to say, BuffelDriver. I'm not really sure what that means exactly. Perhaps that is actually a real tool in some sort of mechanical apparatus. Anyhow, and his ally today, playing as the Inquisitor for the Imperial Guard, we have Mr. GodAmongMen, Hubris. Down here on the right-hand side, the blue team is going to consist of Mr. BioFreak playing as the Warlock for the Eldar, and his ally is going to be Mr. I'm going to go with Hiti, sure, why not, playing as the Chaos Sorcerer. So let's go ahead and get this game started. I'm just pretty much going to be taking a look around now. Obviously, one common question I get is, hey, will you do Newbie Tuesdays on 2 or 3 versus 3 games? Usually no, because when I'm looking at newbie-style mistakes, like beginning game mistakes, it's much easier to distill all that out when you just look at it in a 1 versus 1 game. And those principles will typically apply to 2s and 3s and stuff like that. Honestly, 3 versus 3 games you have to watch like 3 or 4 times if you want to catch every single nuanced detail and mistake and things like that. So, looking at some of the builders we see so far, we've got a Tactical Space Marine out. We have, looks like already a single Guardsman squad and now backing up with the Sentinel. So pretty standard looking builds from everybody. BioFreak choosing to get double Guardians. I like that in team games. I do play a bit of team games now and then as Eldar. Double Guardian going into Shuriken Cannons is kind of fun. Usually have big blobs of stuff in team games. Useful to have some sort of control with grenades and suppression. And already going for central control right now with the multi-laser turret. We can see a little bit of skirmishing going on up here as our Warlock has bumped right into Adrastia. I believe she opened that up with the Hammer of the Witches right now. And he's getting in there really detailed. He does a point-blank destructor there, but that was not necessary. He could have stayed at range. As a result, he has to retreat away. The Guardians are retreating away right now, and things are looking fine. Things are looking definitely fine right now for GodAmongMen. He's doing the right thing, which is he's just pretty much chasing these units away, but it's going to use that time to try and capture stuff. We have skirmishing happening pretty much all over the place. As you can see, the Chaos Sorcerer here, again, getting a little bit bold, charging right in, and this is a heavily defended position. And, oh god, he's got to be really careful there, and it looks like the Chaos Sorcerer goes down right away. So already we can see just the kind of mistakes that a lot of people will make in playing this game. But as I said at the beginning, mistakes are made across the board by everybody in great number, and as a result, the game actually does get quite epic. Seeing around here, just kind of a normal fight. Not terribly good use of cover there, and honestly, single very wounded Guardian squad is just going to get mowed down by all this stuff. Taking a look around, that's pretty much where the major fighting was happening. Down on the southern side here, we can see the rest of Hiti's forces right now. Sans, of course, his Chaos Sorcerer, is just kind of skirmishing a little bit here with BuffelDriver. I haven't seen too much big stuff going on. It looks like all the main exchanges were happening up here. I love the idea of the laser turret, though, to just kind of help hold on to that. And now, all of a sudden, we do have some potential for some light generator bashing up here. Taking a look down south once again. Oh, no! Could it be that the entire Heretic squad was lost in the blink of an eye there? Perhaps he was using Doom Blast in combination with some stuff and just was beaten up by a bunch of tactical marines supported by scouts. That seems most likely. He does have double Chaos Space Marines, but already we're seeing that Hiti making plenty of mistakes here. We can see the Guardians once again are trying in vain to assault this multi-laser turret. And things are looking pretty good, actually. GodAmongMen has got a beautiful looking flank here. First compliment of the day is going to go to GodAmongMen for having just a good timing attack here. This is exactly the sort of thing you always want to have in your mind. Have a build order in mind, but if you want to get tricky and do a gen bash thing, just get ready to go and do that. It's oftentimes better just to simply have a plan that your opponent doesn't have and go out there and do it. And you can see today he went and got some flamers, and he came down here and, oh no, unfortunately, got a little greedy, ran up onto all of these Eldar Guardians, tried to get that ground pound off, and they just focused him down. Remember, Sentinels, not very tough. They will, they have a good amount of hit points, but they take a lot of damage, unlike most vehicles. Again, these guys are just standing out here in open cover right now, trying to use their flamethrowers, but honestly with Destructor and these guys having some cover, that's not looking too good there. Taking a look around right now, it looks like for the time being, for whatever reason, Hiti is actually in pretty good control over the southern side of the map here. It looks like we've got a little bit of blobbing going on here by BuffelDriver. He sent back all of his troops for whatever reason. I honestly thought he had plenty of stuff down there in the south, but he backed away despite having killed that earlier squad. And now we can see a little bit of crazy aggression going on here from BioFreak as well. This kind of stuff not usually necessary to pursue with your entire army. A lot of times it's best just to drive them off. Obviously he's still trying to force a retreat. But don't forget about stuff like this and stuff like this this requisition point up here. You still want to capture those things. You are not trying to actually win this game by killing all of their units. So as you can see, it looks like the Warlock is going to have to retreat. Very dangerous retreat path there. He should be okay. And now, of course, we get to see some nice suppression, but really the Shuriken Cannon is in very open territory here. It's going to be very hard for him to actually get anything done. And now he has to retreat with everybody. So that was kind of a little bit of an ill-fated attack there. It might have been better just to chase those guys back a bit and then fall back, cap some points, put some damage on the power node. Remember that your ultimate goal here is to capture stuff. Likewise, I think BuffelDriver is making a mistake by not sticking to his guns down here in the south. That place is just wide open, and there's certainly a lot he could be doing for it. But always remember to keep an eye on map control. Map control is going to decide you the middle and the late game faster than anything else, just because it'll give you more money, it'll make it quicker for you to tech, stuff like that. We do see some Noise Marines out here right now. I think that's pretty cool. We'll have to see if he's planning on using them for gen bashing. Again, a common thing I think a lot of people need to have is just a little bit of a plan, just a tiny plan that you're willing to let go of if things don't work right away. But there's nothing wrong with saying, I'm going to build the following couple of units and then I'm going to run in and gen bash. That's a very solid plan. In fact, most pros do that anyways. Here we have kind of clever deployable cover. This is honestly way too much cover, but it doesn't matter. He has plenty of time to build it. Really, only 1 or 2 blocks is all you need to cover a whole squad. But he is actually going to fortify that area. That is a real Company of Heroes style of play, and pretty much only Imperial Guard can do that effectively. And unfortunately, the very first attack comes from the other side of the cover, so he's not going to benefit from that at all. However, beautiful move here by Hiti. As you can see, he is getting a nice gen bash off right now. Everybody else is too busy dealing with the rest of his soldiers, and as a result, he is going to go ahead and pop 3 generators here, most likely. It looks like just doing a normal frontal assault on that multi-laser turret. The Guardians are exchanging blood for damage here, and it was a costly assault. He did take that out finally, and now you can see he's going to move up the Shuriken Cannon. And meanwhile, it looks like the Noise Marines are going to get their job done. Once again, big criticism here for BuffelDriver. He is the biggest force on the battlefield right now. but unfortunately he's moving all of his troops around in one humongous blob. It would really behoove him to use the shift-click ability to queue up commands. You can see a lot of guys just kind of left behind here. Send one scout squad down here, queue up all of this stuff that is plainly visible, and capture all of it while he attacks for the rest of his troops right now. GodAmongMen is seriously behind, having lost a Sentinel, and let me take a look at his money right now. Not having built much else, but again, it's hard to do analysis with so much going on right now. You can see here the Noise Marines are continuing to do pretty good damage here. It actually took a shotgun blast from the Scout Marines, a high explosive shot here, to kind of break their hold over them. Now the interesting thing here is that Hiti went for double Noise Marines right now, and there's the cacophonous blast you can see being used to kind of control the Assault Marines and kind of back them away. And bam, GodAmongMen here is going to be dropping in right now using his Bane Wolf. So the Bane Wolf call down is interesting. I don't know why he called it in right there specifically. Maybe it was because the furthest up place he had sight on. But he will be able to come up here and work on this generator a little bit. That was actually great timing on a Bane Wolf. Very nice and quick Bane Wolf. That's pretty much exactly when you want to get out. You can see BioFreak is just about to get a Bright Lance, and Hiti is only now getting up to tier 2. BuffelDriver is the furthest behind in tier 2, but he is also the most ahead in having a tier 1 army. That's reasonably upgraded at that. Taking a look here, we can see going one step further, the Bane Wolf is now putting some more pressure out there. And honestly, until a Bright Lance team shows up, he should just continue focus firing these generators. Always good to get some good value out of your out of that. And you can see here he is just kind of splattering those gentlemen there as well. Continuing to have some sort of melee here between the Chaos Sorcerer, the Chaos Space Marines, and the Assault Marines. That's looking pretty good. And now GodAmongMen is using his next plan, which is getting out of Manticore. Manticore always really awesome in team games as well. Perhaps we have a Bright Lance team on the field. Yes, there it is. There's the Bright Lance.